Okay, shalom, hello. Welcome again to our short daily videos honoring the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And I'll begin with an acknowledgement that we are meeting here on Treaty 6 ground. We're treaty people and must take that into account when talking today about the elimination of violence against women. As Canadians and those living in Canada, we remind ourselves as well of the calls for justice in the cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. May we all know peace and safety. Amen. So our guest today is Leticia Nadler. Leticia is a sessional lecturer at the University of Alberta and also the president of a women's organization called La Coalition de Femmes de l'Alberta. Her research interest focuses on women and leadership in both politics and education. She is particularly interested in understanding the systemic roadblocks that women encounter in their workplace. Shalom, Leticia. Hello. And you're also a member at Temple Beth Ora.
Exactly. That's how we know each other.
That is how we know each other. Exactly. And you wanted to focus just on one question today, and you will tell us about your favorite woman from Torah, from our tradition, from the Jewish tradition.
Well, first of all, it was difficult to make a decision because we have wonderful women in the Torah. And after a bit of thinking, I thought I should actually talk about Sarah because she's the first matriarch of the Jewish people. And I can relate to her story. So for those who don't know her, so Sarah is the wife of Abraham, the mother of Isaac, and also a very important leader an influential leader for women in Judaism. So Sarah had a child called Isaac, but she had this child at a very old age. And throughout her life, motherhood was a major question, I think. And if we look at society today, I think women's identity is still very tied to motherhood. And to me, it's a form of violence against the women who do not have a child, who choose not to have a child, who can maybe not have a child, or who choose to maybe prioritize their career and have a child later in life. So Sarah had a child at the age of 89, and it always reminds me that there is no perfect age to have a child. It's really when a woman is ready, when she wants to, and it's her choice and no one else's choice, I think.
Yeah, and is it okay if I add just something that came to my mind as you were talking, and you brought that miraculous age, which is like inconceivable, almost. But in our tradition, we're reminded also that birth isn't really in our hands at all. Like, it's not a choice it's not up to you in a sense. Like you don't decide not to have a child. Or yes, to have a child. It's something that happens. And if women are, and there's a legend that God holds 3 keys in his hands and only he can open them. So that's the key of having rain fall, and the key of resurrection, which he doesn't use often, and the key of birth, of giving birth. So in a sense, a woman who emotionally can't give birth or physically can't give birth, we can't blame her in that sense, because the key hasn't been opened in that sense. So it's not up to people to force women into these situations of birth and motherhood. And it's a legend that we can use, I think, too, also. So in what way does Sarah give you hope?
So I'm going to be honest, I'm 34 years old. I do not have children, and I've always wanted to have kids. It has always been in the back of my mind. And to me, her story is a story of hope, because I think I shouldn't lose hope. And I know I will have kids, but God knows when, not me.
Yeah. And in the meanwhile, you're doing amazing things with your life.
Yeah, I hope. I'm trying. I think as a woman, we have a lot of potential, and we have to raise our voice and make things better for us.
Regardless of motherhood or otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and taking care of people is not just about your biological children. So yeah, yeah. And you're a teacher, so that's amazing. We need more people like you. So Leticia, thank you so much. Thank you so very much for joining and for giving these words of hope and for putting a spotlight on an area that isn't often seen as a place of coercion and violence. It can be a very silent type of violence, but I think many women are struggling with that. And thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you
So
for having me.
yeah, thank you so much. We'll talk soon.